Hello YouTube, my name's Marie, and today we're going to talk about the first 15 episodes of the Chinese drama Arsenal Military Academy. So this series follows a girl who decides to disguise herself as a boy and enlist in this military academy in place of her deceased brother. Right off the bat, I feel like I need to say a huge thank you to the commenter who recommended that I watch this show because I love it. Not to say that this show doesn't have its share of faults, which I will talk about a bit, but it's so entertaining and the characters are so lovable, and I love the friendship dynamics, and I love the setting and the costumes and the music. Like, I love so much about this show. 15 episodes went by as if they were nothing. They just consumed me. I didn't change out of my pajamas at all yesterday, and you can bet that by the time I have edited and uploaded this video, I will be back in my pajamas on to episode 16. Now let's talk a little bit more about those things that I just quickly mentioned that I really like about the show. The female lead, I love her motivations for joining the military academy. It has nothing to do with pride, proving that women can do what a man can. Like, it has nothing to do with like sticking it to the man or anything like that, but it has so much more to do with family and grief and getting over her lost brother, and I just found that very powerful. Moving on to other members of the cast, we've got quite a large cast. As you can imagine, there is all the other recruits or trainees, or I don't even know what to call them, like the other members of the academy. I loved watching them like live together and train together. I'm such a sucker for training sequences. I love that. And then there's also a lot of other female characters that really make an impression. Our female lead has a best friend, and their interactions are awesome, especially when she is still dressed as a boy. And other aspects of the series that I'm really enjoying is the soundtrack. It has a lot of like jazz influence to it, which does make sense because I think this show is set around the 20s. The costumes are beautiful. I want to wear everything that everybody wears. Everyone looks so dashing. The men, the women, the clothes fit people. Like, ooh, it just makes everyone look so good. Why can't we dress like that still? So the costumes, the set design is also very lovely, and the music, it all reminds me of Tenzin Mystic. They have a very similar look. However, the editing and the cinematography here is nowhere near as artistic as it was in Tenzin Mystic, but that's okay. I want to just re-emphasize before I get into some of the negatives how much I really do enjoy this show. It's a great time. You're gonna get sucked into it, and if the next 34 episodes are as entertaining as these 15 are, I'm gonna have no problem giving all of my time over to these characters. I really just want to hang out with them more and see them interact and see where the story goes. But let's talk about some negatives. I think negatives is probably too strong of a word. I have just a few small, like, nitpicky things that I want to discuss, because when I think about this show, I like it so much that some of the small things that are bothering me, I want to talk about them more. Sometimes it's fun to critique things that you really like because it's not coming from a place of malice or ranting about it. It's just coming from a place that you want it to be even better. So my first thing is I have no idea how much time has passed. You could tell me it's been a month. You could tell me it's been a year. I have no idea. They go on breaks, but the weather never changes. So it could change in the future episodes. They mentioned in episode 15 that it's supposed to snow. So I would love to see some like rainy season. I'd love to see some snow. I'd love to see some autumn. Like, I want to see an indication of the time that has passed. Next, I think that there have been a lot of missed opportunities here. For instance, there's a mission where the female lead has to disarm a bomb. A character actually says, "I don't trust you," and goes to cut the wrong wire. To me, that's a huge thing to say to someone, like in the heat of battle, and you're not going to trust them. And I thought that needed to be addressed later, and it hasn't been. It feels unsatisfying. Like, I wish things had more consequences. Who knows, maybe in the future episodes, which I will find out because I'm gonna watch it, but maybe in future episodes they're put into a similar situation where he does trust her to make the right choice, which would be perfect. It would tie things up nicely. It's what I want. If they're not going to talk about it, put it into action. But other moments that have no real consequence for the characters are things like there's kind of like an uprising between the students and their teachers at this academy to do with prisoners, and oh my goodness, a student literally pulls out a gun on his teacher. Consequences? Nope. Like, you actually pulled a gun on your superior in a military setting and there were no consequences? Like, you weren't punished? Other points are just simply dropped. In the first episode, our female lead has to undergo a health exam, and the doctor is like, "Okay, take off your clothes," and she's obviously uncomfortable with that and tries to sidestep it, and he's like, "Well, if you're not going to take off your clothes, just get out." And then the next scene, she walks out and she's like, "Oh yeah, I passed." But how? You're not ever told how she passed. What happened there? Like, did she make a deal with the doctor? What happened? I want to know. And my last qualm that I want to talk about is that one of the characters, I'm trying to be very vague here because I'm trying not to spoil anything. A character finds out very early on that our female lead is actually a woman. So the reason why I love Girl Disguised as a Boy narratives so much is because I love seeing people prove themselves while at the disadvantage. I really just love seeing girls earn the respect of their male peers when their gender isn't influencing their opinions. She may have to do things in a different way. In fact, I think she should have to do things in a different way, maybe a bit unconventional ways, because men and women are different. She should have her own unique way of completing tasks than her male peers, and I think that's totally okay, and I think that should be a way to prove herself and gain the respect of others. When women do that in shows like this, I feel so triumphant, and I feel like we're robbed from that feeling with this show because of that one character who knows that she's a woman way too early, because he will step in and do things to rescue her, and it feels really unsatisfying. Even though the female lead is really likable, she's a bit bland. I do root for her. I root for her 110%. I want to see her succeed, but she's not my favorite character, and she's not even my second favorite character. My favorite character is the male lead. He's immature, he's playful, he's every time he winks at the camera, I die a little bit. I love his interactions with the female lead. She's a bit bland, like I already said, but he makes up for it 100 times fold. My second favorite character is definitely the celebrity. She makes a real strong impression. Okay, that is everything I have to talk about. Have a good day, have a good night, bye.